plus villages. Each one is led by an independent headman. Right. General village life. These are horticulturists. Remember? Slash and burn horticulture, meaning you chop down forest trees, and you clear a garden. And of course, these villages are always near a river. So notice they live in one big concentric circle, one giant, almost like a donut. It's called a shabano. And this is what the inside of a shabano looks like. You can see there is, see the dogs are really skinny in this part of the world. But see, there's a man. There's a family right there. There's their neighbors, and there's their neighbors. So as you can see, very little privacy. Hang on. So it's completely enclosed, right? Women's activities. Now this is not meant to be exhaustive. We're just sort of dipping our finger into the women's activities. Number one, they're married off at a very young age. She's already married, to be sure. First marriages are invariably arranged. Sometimes a man will say, well, let's say you and I are Yanomamö, and I want an alliance with you, so I'll say, when my wife has a daughter, when she has a daughter, I will give it to you so that you can give it to your son. So sometimes women are promised in marriage even before they're born. And what happens is you end up like this guy. He's in an altered state, to be sure. So he's taking a hallucinogen, not because he's a member of the counterculture. He's not some sort of hippie or anything like that. He is a very devout medicine man, a very devout shaman. So he's a very pious person acting on behalf of the community. So shamans alter their state of consciousness so that in their supernatural state, they can see where the sickness is coming from. He actually worked on me. I got pretty sick in the Yanomamö, and he worked on me. So he invoked, and I'm not going to act out how he cures. I'll do that for the shamanism talk later on. But he will invoke a friendly Hebrew spirit, Motorawe. So when I got sick, he could pretend that you're me and pretend that you're sick. All of a sudden, this guy comes, Motorawe. Turns out, Motorawe is a friendly spirit. Come to my other talk if you want the full treatment. So you have a lot more of these big animals near those major rivers. Yeah. These things, I better move on. I can tell you taper stories, but I need to move on here. Now, lowland villages tend to have a lot of people. You know, a village of 300 people is on the big side of the Yanomamö. So again, here's a family, and there's another family. Very little privacy. Or really no privacy, pretty much. At least to our standards. So a lot of people. Once you're killed in battle, you gain Kakaram status. And people are very deferential to you because you've killed in battle. And everybody recognizes that guy's Kakaram or that guy's movement. So more individuals who've been successful in warfare, they are Unuka. More abducted and women. More women that have been abducted. It's one of the perks of war. You might be able to abduct a woman. You may not always, but in some cases that might be allow their enemies to escape. So they burn down their shabano and burn their gardens. But they really wanted to avenge a death by taking another death. But warfare happens. So why fight? Boy, there's the big question. Why fight? Now, was it much like a game? It was much like a game. I have time to put it in here. These are one of these important take-home moments. He said, though, and I'm paraphrasing this, but I'm pretty clear that I convey the message accurately. People who argue that warfare in the neotropics is a recent phenomenon are silent at how the chiefdoms that operated there came about. You know, they're absolutely silent. They are not dealing with that phenomenon. If you know anything about chiefdoms, and bitter pill for some to swallow. Right? But one thing that missionaries bring in that everybody loves, trade goods. No doubt. People that argue that native peoples want trade goods are absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. So missionaries bring trade goods. These are machetes, metal axes. And so these things make a lot of sense because metal axe is much more efficient than stone axe. These things are labor-saving devices. Who can blame them for running these? The missionary pedophiles. You know, they never stop until they're caught. So this really makes me mad, as if Indians don't have enough on their plate. But again, not all missionaries do that, but some do. As if there's not enough trouble 1987, gold was discovered in this part of the world, some of Brazilian side. No Westerner really cared about this region until gold was found. And literally, overnight, 40,000 illegal miners, desperate to make a living. So I don't blame them because they're desperate, but eager to share all these insights. So he's well educated in both of those. Or he spoke excellent Spanish. He was like, only one or two that I met. Two that I met.
Can knowledge of Spanish or Portuguese or any other kind of contemporary education, getting any kind of contemporary education, can it influence this or that way the social status, the social position of a person within the traditional culture?
Oh yeah, I mean, and this is it's so often that the missionaries Indian encounter is always missionary downtrodden Indian. True, missionaries can be very abusive, but Native peoples seek out missionaries for their own self-aggrandizement, and in some cases elbow other Indians out of the way because of all of these good things. So in that sense, Ferguson is absolutely correct that missionaries are bringing these valuable commodities, and if you've ever tried to chop down a tree with a stone axe and you try a steel axe, you don't ever want to go to a stone axe again. So these Native peoples are doing this, and that's a way of social climbing. Traditionally, the groups that I work with, there are just a handful of ways for young men